Hello and good afternoon, everyone, to the Brazilian Grand Prix here today at the Interlagos circuit in Brazil. Of course, we are here today at LSR, Lightning Speed Racing's Classic Cup Group 2 session, and this is the finale of the Season 2 Championship race, so let's get this underway. Alright, I'm going to quickly touch on this circuit. So this circuit, first race in 1973, has 4.309 kilometers, and of course, has, I do believe, 15 turns to its name. And there's 2 DRS zones to encourage overtaking, but of course in these 2010 classic cars, the DRS won't be active, but those DRS straights will provide some great overtaking as we come down into turn 1 and turn 4. Alright, so with all the information about the track aside, let's get into the race here today. Now, we do have a small grid with us in the race, but that doesn't mean that we will have a boring race. That means we'll have a great race, I gotta say, as a lot of these guys are very fast. So only 6 runners with us here today, but it should be a very good finale to our Group 2 session here today. Now, of course, we gotta talk about who is in the comms booth for today's race. It's myself, Broomhandle914, and joining me for another race in LSR is Ferret. Welcome back to the comms booth, Ferret. How are you looking at these drivers here today? Now, I know it is a small grid, as we did mention, but you have commentated on a few of these guys before. Do you think these guys will give us a good show?
Oh, definitely. I know Luke Flano and that Portuguese dude and Forzan have got quite similar paces, so we're looking at a few battles there. And Mel Gaiman's turned up properly today, and I think he's putting a fantastic showing. Just waiting to see what Young Lights and Saint TJ can do on the laps, and hopefully it'd be a nice little mix.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. There's a lot of drivers, like you said, that have some pace around there. At the moment, Forzan 96 has the fastest lap at 111.0, as he actually extends that with a 110.4. That is very good. So Forzan, a very quick driver there in the Red Bull. Now, of course, you guys may know him from the Group 1 session he's reserving in our Group 2 race here today, as he could not make the previous round at Brazil for Group 1. And speaking of that race, viewers, you can go check out that live stream. That was a fantastic race, tons of action on track. You can definitely go check that out. That's on Fabregas 115 channel as he streamed the races, and then of course we'll be able to get the full stream on our channel very soon, but you can check out, if you really want to see it at this moment, you can check it out on his channel. We did see a McLaren just go off. Did you see who that was? Are you there, Ferret?
So yeah, I've just had to have a look. I know there's at the moment we've got Luke Flano, who's actually out in the McLaren on track, but I can't see who it was that stopped. I think it might have been Young Lights or Mel Gaming that actually stopped.
Oh, I think you are right. Yeah, I think it's one of them. Might have been Young Light, as I think Mel may have retired before him. So the McLaren driver, I do believe he's 5th place at the moment, has retired from the session. So I think you are right about that one. Quick note on Mr. Lights there. He does have a wheel, so he might be struggling quite a bit. But that doesn't mean... that means he'll probably get a great performance, actually. As, I mean, he might be practicing on that wheel if it's his first time. That may be the reason why he crashed out. But... I mean, I'm sure he will give us a great show here today with some action on tracks and battling between wheel to wheel. We'll have to wait and see how that works out. 8 minutes remain of qualifying here today. And one quick thing before I want to continue on and ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. We will be having a 25% race due to the grid that we do have, as it is very small. So to make time consuming not that bad, we wanted to do a 25% race. So that's the reason why we're doing that. So with all that cleared up, I wanted to mention to you, Ferret. Now, this is a track that you and me both commentated on for the previous round at the Senna Grand Prix in those 1991 McLarens. But we're here in these 2010 cars. Now, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, we had a great fight that season and for that era as well in the early 2010s. We had a great battle for the championship in the 2010 era with these particular cars.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, the McLaren always had a bit of pace, but the Red Bull at that time had the highest downforce ever in a Formula 1 car at that moment. So it was like, Joe, very, very tough battling between the two cars because McLaren made it up on the straights where the Red Bull kept the pace around the corner. So I'm hoping to see some similar behaviours today.
Yeah, I think you're right. It will be very interesting to see how that comparison works here today. It's possible that, these cars are very similar to the actual cars in real life. They handle very similar. Of course, they are almost replicas of the exact same cars. Of course, they're in the game, though. But, yeah, it'll be very interesting. Like you said, it will just be to see if these cars are going to be the same as they are in the real F1. And in that era as well, they proved to have a great challenge. You said the McLaren was more powerful than the Red Bull at some points, but then the Red Bull was more powerful at certain points as well. So it's really just a matter of cornering, matter for power. It's really such difficult, and we've been talking about this pretty much the entire races that we have been doing here today at Classic Corsa Cup, or LSR as we now call it. The Red Bull is quicker in the corners, and the McLaren is quicker on the straights. Now, Ferret, I want to ask you another question if you don't mind. I'm not sure if you saw the Group 1 session, but I was driving in that, and I was in the McLaren, and I felt like the McLaren was really not really good through Sector 2 and Sector 3, but it was good on Sector 1.
Well, the Sector 2 is the one with all the tight corners, so I would have expected that to be the reason. As for Sector 3, it's that junction corner. If you don't get a good exit through junction corner, which is 10, 12, then you're not carrying a speed out all the way over up to turn 1. So I can understand where you lost it. Also, just touching on the point when you said about these cars are quite realistic. If the game would allow drivers to use the F duct as the McLaren does have, I would have expected the McLaren to wipe the floor with the Red Bull, but obviously the game doesn't allow that, so it kind of makes it a bit more even. So, yeah, I think personally, with what you were talking about, the Red Bull would actually be the better car around here.
Interesting. So you think if the McLaren was allowed to have the F duct, it would be able to wipe the floor, basically, like you said, with the Red Bull around here?
Definitely. The F duct at the time was actually manually blocked, as it says, because under the FIA rulings you're not allowed to adjust aerodynamics mechanically around the race, but it doesn't say anything about blocking a hole with a finger, which is what they used to do. The F duct, which is that little scoop that you see on the front of the McLaren.
Oh yeah.
So if you look at the front of the McLaren, you'll see that on the left-hand side there's a little duct that was there, and it basically was a pipe that goes through into the driver's cockpit, and it kind of like just increased a little bit of drag. It also cooled the engine down a little bit, and what they could do is they can compromise by sticking their finger in to block the duct, which means it reduces the drag for brief moments down straights, and that just to give them that extra speed. But then it would compromise with the fact that the engine would heat up a lot more for doing that. So you had to balance it quite well.
Very interesting analysis. Sorry, I think you're absolutely correct with that. The F duct is a very interesting thing that the FIA were having in that time, of course. And as you said, I think the McLaren, if it had that, it would be very dominant in this race. It's very interesting that the game did not put that in. But yeah, very interesting to see how that works out. And as you mentioned as well, since the McLaren does not have the F duct on it, that would mean the McLaren, the Red Bull is the faster car. So very interesting to see how that worked out. Now, Ferret, I'm not sure if you've driven these cars. You mainly have been commentating on these races, but you're probably familiar with how these cars handle. These classic cars are very different to the 2020 Formula 1 cars that we're used to driving. Would you give any advice to any of these guys, between the McLaren guys or the Red Bulls? What would you give it as some advice before these guys go into the race?
It's all about the corner exit for these cars. With everything that the modern F1 cars, they've got all about the downforce. You can put the car power down a little bit earlier, or you can carry a bit of power through the corners. Whereas with the 2010 cars, they do tend to be a bit slidey on the back end. So it's all about braking earlier, and then powering through the corner. You'll get the better grip, and you'll also keep the car on track.
Very interesting. So drivers, if you just listen to Ferret, make sure to take that advice into account as you come into the race. It'll be key as we see this race unfolding, as we see the qualifying actually unfolding at this moment. As let's quickly talk about that, because there's a few drivers on their quick laps at the moment. Do you think anyone out there that you're seeing could grab pole from Forzan?
Well, that Portuguese has put in a 1:10.7, which is a fantastic time. Luke Flano is actually doing fairly well. I'm not too sure whether he's going to be quick enough to actually take that, but then we still haven't seen what Same TJ can do yet. So maybe he could surprise us with a very quick lap now.
Well, here comes Porchy to the line. He's not going to extend on his lap there, so looks like he'll stay P2 unless he goes for another lap here. What about Luke Flano? Like you said, let's see what he can do. And Same TJ, we haven't seen the full pace of him. He's at 6th place. Luke jumps to P2, 1:10.6. He goes ahead of Porchy, but Porchy's still on a faster lap, so let's see if he can improve on that.
Yeah, that's the Same TJ did go really wide on the exit turn one, so I don't think he will be able to put in a fast time for this lap now. So I think that's his qualifying done. But yeah, Portugal and Luke Flynn has just gone off at 4 and 5. So he's yeah, I don't think he's going to be competing there. But let's see if that one Portugal is able to be any quicker.
Yeah, that's the driver I think that we're watching on. I mean, Forzan is also on a quick lap at the moment. If Porchy does not catch Forzan, even Forzan's lap will be fine, but he's actually just going to come across the line. Let's look at Porchy dude at the moment in that Red Bull. He's just going to come across the line for this team. Is he going to set the faster lap time? No, he does not improve, and Porchy will say P3. It looks like Forzan is also on a quick lap at the moment, but that does not matter. He will grab pole unless he, of course, disqualified. If he gets disqualified, which will probably not happen. So I think he will be starting on pole unless he can improve on this lap time. Let's see if he can improve and go even faster. He's looking very quick, so let's see as he comes to the line.
I was watching him through Sector 2 then. I did see him take off the gas a little bit on a couple of corners, so I think that's where he might have lost a little bit of time.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's very interesting. So, gotta say, I agree with you on that. I wasn't really riding on board with him, but it seemed like his sectors in Sector 2 were sliding down as well. So, you just basically confirmed that. So, very interesting. But yeah, that is that. It looks like everyone's laps are done. Forzan 96 will take pole for the Red Bull team, and very interesting because, of course, he is a reserve in the league, so showing that he's got the pace to be in Group 2 as well. But he grabs pole. Luke Flano will take his best qualifying performance in Classic Cup LSR. He takes 2nd place with Portugal rounding off the top 3, and then the rest of the drivers, Mel Gaming, Lights, and Same TJ, all rounding off the grid in 4th, 5th, and 6th position. Well, it looks like we're going to get underway in just a few seconds. I do want to ask Ferret a question. We know that the tire wear is really good in F1 2020 cars and the normal cars, that's what I mean. And we know that from experience from watching the Group 1 races that the tire wear, we did a 50% race that time, and they only had to pit once. Now, if this is an 18 lap, if I'm not mistaken, race laps for a round here at this Group 2 race, do you think these drivers will have to pit at all?
Chances are, with the 25% race, the tire degradation is actually increased, so it stays within like the parameters. So you'll still pit roughly about like halfway around the race anyway, normally. But then these tires with the what they call the demonstration dry tires. For the classic cars, they can do quite a long stint. They're equivalent to a compound in between medium and hard. So 18 laps, I think that is possible, but you're going to have to take good care of the tyres.
Well, you're absolutely correct. It's going to be interesting to see how these tires handle out there. We'll see if these drivers do need to pit. And that's, of course, if they don't have to pit, there could be the option of pitting under a safety car, or if they cause an incident out there on track, if there's wing damage or something like that, that could be an option as well for some of these guys to pit. So I assure you guys watching at home right now, these guys are going to have to pit, so we will see some action in the pit lane at some point, but it really is just about that battle at the front. And I want to mention something real quickly. The championship pretty much has been decided. I mean, in Group 1, of course, we had Tasmanian Devil taking home the championship and McLaren for constructors. In Group 2, even with the other drivers that were in the top 3, if they entered the race here today, I don't think they would be able to catch the leader, Chaluwote, who has won the Group 2 championship, and his team, of course, Red Bull, have done so as well with a huge lead over McLaren in the constructors title. They will take home the championship. So Red Bull in Group 2, McLaren in Group 1. Very interesting.
Yeah, when any races I did commentate on for the Cup, I did see that Joe Walton was actually quite consistently quick. So, well-deserved victory for him.
Yeah, well deserved, of course. Yeah, we've had a small little championship here today. Only 7 rounds, actually, in our Group 2 session. Kind of got cut short due to numbers and all that sort of thing. But yes, yeah, Chaluwote, congrats on him. If you're listening right now, Daniel, congrats on the Group 2 championship. But yeah, it looks like the race is just going to get underway for us here today. The 5 red lights are out for the final time in Classic Cup LSR. It's Group 2 sessions, Brazilian Grand Prix, and we are away with a little bit of a glitch already. Oh, no. Okay, there we go. We are underway. There we go. And a great start for, I do believe that's Mel Gaming. What an amazing start for the McLaren as we head down to turn 1. Porchy Dude, great start as well. Luke Flano did not have the best of starts. Oh, Mel has been hit, and a McLaren is hit as well. That's, I do believe, Saint TJ in the wall, and it looks like he's been hit quite a bit. Mel must have spun, and I do believe he hit his fellow teammates in the back.
Yeah, Mel just lost the back end going through 10-2. Unfortunately for Saint TJ, and I believe it was Young Lights as well, got caught up there, and Saint TJ ended up having a bit of a knock and going straight into the wall on the far side.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Yeah, there was a lot of drivers out there that were tangled up in that, particularly the McLarens, which is unfortunate because they are all teammates, of course. Yeah, it's just the way it goes. It looks like our closest battle right now is actually Mel on Young Light there in the McLaren. We got to remember, Lights, this is his first time, I do believe, or his first couple of times on the wheels. Oh, a mistake right there from the McLaren driver. I do believe he's just trying to get grips with these cars. I do believe this is his first time in Classic Cup LSR with this type of car. And so he's actually going to pit. I do believe maybe he got some damage from that incident with Mel. Mel will be P4 now. Luke is all over back of Porchy, who's actually all over back of Forzan. So Porchy versus Forzan for the race lead. We have an amazing battle for P1.
Yeah, that Porchy dude had a really good exit through turn 2. Gave him a good line through turn 3. Now he's just picking his time, picking his spot to make a pass on Forzan.
Is he going to go around the outside? Ooh, they're going so close. This is great racing. As you said, Porchy got a very good exit off the previous couple of corners there, and he's been doing so for quite a while. Forzan under pressure from his fellow Red Bull, and that other Red Bull looks to have a better exit yet again as Forzan makes a little bit of a mistake. Of course, Forzan drives the McLaren in Group 1, so maybe he's not particularly 100% confirmed with the Red Bull. You know, like he's probably not... the car is not suited to him, of course, because, of course, he drives the McLaren, so he's probably suited to the McLaren more at this point. I'm sure he will get more comfortable with the Red Bull, but at this moment, Porchy is the quicker driver because, of course, this is his car that he has been driving pretty much all season. And then right behind these guys is Luke, who's got much more pace than McLaren, but here comes Porchy to try and take the lead.
Absolutely fantastic wheel-to-wheel action between these two drivers. Very clean, very competitive. Do like a good wheel-to-wheel battle, especially when it's clean like they are doing right now.
Definitely. It looks like they're going to keep it up. Let's see if this continues on. It looks like Forzan is just going to come out ahead. Porchy and Forzan are both battling it out. I'm right on board with that Red Bull. And then we got the two McLarens right behind him as well. So we have McLaren v Red Bull. Once again, a nice little battle for the top positions at the moment. But Porchy all over the back, just wiggling back and forth, just trying to go from left to right to try and overtake Forzan. He just needs to get past, but will Forzan keep the gap and hopefully extend? That's up to him. We'll have to see how that works out. Porchy still all over the back, and Luke Flano as well, closing in with that power, that McLaren.
Yeah, I think Luke's had to waiting to see whether there's going to be a mistake. He is going to a little bit wide and a little bit narrow in some corners when he needs to take a tidy line to catch him. But he is just looking for a mistake for the two Red Bulls to actually capitalise on.
You are right. Yeah, Luke and Mel as well is also in that action. Literally just waiting for those two Red Bulls. You're absolutely correct with that statement. I'm not sure. I mean, like, those two Red Bulls have been very clean for the past 4 laps that we have seen in this race. So I don't think they'll collide, but anything can happen around Brazil. We've seen it many times in races in the past, in real F1, and of course in the virtual world as well. We saw it in the Group 1 session at this particular corner. I saw a major crash between myself, actually. I do believe McChicken was involved in that, and another driver as well. So we have seen some crazy crashes on track, but hopefully we won't have those here today. But of course, for the commentary, it would be nice to see some action with some cars flipping up in the air.
Yeah, everybody loves to see a good spectacular crash, but for the whole purpose of the race, we do like to see the clean battling as well. But personally, I think that it's going to be it's like with Brazil, it's just pressure over time, and then someone tends to make a mistake.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Things can happen here at Brazil. Lots of accidents can happen when it comes to just putting on the pressure, as this is such a fast track, such a comfortable track, but you can get very, very overexcited when it comes to just racing, pure racing, when it comes to traction zones, all that sort of thing. What we'll have to see as Porchy is looking to make a move yet again on Forzan, his teammate. He's going to go around the outside. Here he comes, purple sector in sector 1, but that doesn't matter as Forzan goes onto the curb there, gives him the space, and Porchy dude takes the lead. Is Forzan going to fight back? Let's see. This is great racing between the two teammates.
Absolutely brilliant overtake there by Portugal on the outside of turn 4 and 5. Yeah, Forzan did cut the grass a little bit on turn 4, which basically gave Portugal the full pace to then just make the move happen and complete.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Forzan literally just gave him enough space, was able to just acknowledge that his fellow teammate was alongside, and of course these two, I know them both, very clean drivers when I'm wheel to wheel with them each, and they're wheel to wheel with each other, so I think they will really prevail when it comes to racing wheel to wheel with each other. The battle is not over though. Forzan wants this win. He wants to take it back from Porchy dude. We're having a nice little battle for P1 and P2. Great to see some action on track on lap 6.
And we're now seeing Luke Flano actually starting to get the pace back again to actually start closing that gap off to the two Red Bulls. So he might actually join in with a battle for the first.
Ooh, wouldn't that be interesting? A McLaren joining the battle. It would become a 3-way fight for the win here today. Wouldn't that be interesting? And just further behind is Mel as well in P4. We'll see if he can catch up. And also something to note, as you said, Luke could catch up, and he is starting to catch up as those two are battling out, braking in certain locations, braking sooner, and that is allowing Luke to catch up as we're seeing a nice little overview, and that's how close he is getting. Now we know how quick that McLaren is in the straight line. It gains almost 2/10 in the straights. Isn't that incredible, viewers? So could that be a good option for Luke to use that power to his advantage to close up to the driver's ahead?
I was just on board with Luke, just watching his racing start, and he does cut the corners over the curves a bit too much. All he needs, especially for turn 12, if he misses the curve, he will definitely be closing them up before turn 1.
Interesting.
And
oh, go ahead.
Portugal's just made a mistake, so it's basically almost let Forzan through, but managed to hold off in front. He just went really wide at turn 2, and Forzan is just battling with Luke Flano now, which is going to be fantastic. A 3-way battle for first by the looks of it.
Yeah, Luke has closed up. Amazing to see. I didn't even see him close up that fast. And oh, gets a little forced off the grass. But I think that will continue on. So, like you said, we're seeing an amazing battle for first, second, and third.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Luke start taking a few more risks on the corners to actually then make moves happen, because he's got the pace. He needs to make the move happen early to benefit it near the end of the race.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, Luke maybe starting to try and push a little bit more on his car. We'll see if that works out. I think another thing he's thinking about is literally those two. If they crash, he will be up in P1. Maybe he doesn't want to get involved in that. We'll have to see. If that is a yellow flag, I think that's same TJ.
Yeah, same TJ. Just basically, I think he lost it at Little Pine Tree, so he went a bit slow through the duck spill. So yeah, yellow flag's all gone now. So back to normal racing.
And look at this, the normal racing continues on between Porchy and Forzan. This is side-by-side action for almost the entire lap so far, as both are still side-by-side. Porchy gets overtaken by Forzan, so Forzan will re-overtake his fellow teammate. Oh, as Porchy almost hits the back of Forzan. Here comes Luke too, gotta remember, as looks like same TJ has retired from the session.
It's unfortunate to see same TJVA retire from the session this early on, but I just think the car wasn't feeling it for him. He's had a few mistakes, and he just didn't feel like he was going to be in the race at all.
Yeah, good point. I think, yeah, I got to agree with that. Same TJ, a little bit of mistake with just the car at some points. And you got to remember as well, this is also his first race in Classic Corset Cup for LSR, of course. And yeah, same TJ. Unfortunate to see him retire, like you said. But that is the way it goes in Formula 1. Hopefully we'll see him in future races in the future, of course, for this league. But anyway, we still have that battle for P1, Porchy versus Forzan versus Luke. And also, two other drivers to mention, Mel Gaming has left the session. So unfortunate to see that from the McLaren driver. Maybe he just had to go somewhere or something like that, but he has left the session. And actually, I'm going to see if I can get him back in the session. So viewers, give me 1 second. I just want to quickly invite our fellow racer. Oh, and look at that. Porchy on Forzan yet again. Looks like that Red Bull's going to try and close up probably about now. Is Portuguese going to try and make the move on Forzan? Doesn't look like he can. He just doesn't have enough pace. We'll have to wait a little bit longer to try and make the move on Forzan. Something to mention as well, viewers. We are pretty much over the halfway point in the race. So time has already flown by. We have 8 laps remaining, including this one, which would be 9. So 9 laps remain. We have that middle part of the race.
This will be the key part now for the drivers to start thinking of closing strategy, whether they're going to be pitting or not. Because by the looks of it, I'm looking at the wheels of the McLaren, you can see there's a faint white line. There's about, I say, quarter of an inch from the inside. You're looking, that there would be what they call a ballister line. So that would affect steering and pace. So whether the McLarens decide to pit soon, that'd be a good question.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's something to take into account because, like you said, that blister will grow quite a bit, and yeah, that's going to start forming. We've already seen it, like you mentioned. So it's just down to seeing if these guys can pit or not. So you're absolutely correct with that. Now, if this is the case, if these 4 drivers, or the top 3 at this moment actually, if they decide to pit, that could put Yun Light back into the action, as he probably will not be pitting in this race as he's 2-lap fresher tires.
I definitely agree with you on that. Young Lights could actually then close that gap of the 27 seconds he's lost out so far. So yeah, definitely would need the front three to pit for him to have a chance of taking at least the podium. But if I was Luke's got to kind of like, I would say the McLaren's more likely to wear through the tyres than the Red Bull, just because the pale light white line is much more clearer on the McLaren tyres than they are on the Red Bull. So if Luke sees Forza and Portugal pit, he should pit.
Gotta agree with you on that one. Yeah, the McLaren does. I think the reason why it has a blister that forms quite a bit is because of the car just slides all over the place when it comes to this track, as the Red Bulls are just much more better in the corners. As Porchi's going for the move on Forza, and we'll come back to what we were saying in just a little bit. The battle for P1 continues on as Porchi is all over the back of his fellow Red Bull. Is he going to try and make a move? It looks like Forza was just a lot more consistent through that turn, though.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing this all the way to the end, because that Portugal is not going to be giving up first place at all for Forza just to run away with it.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Porchi, a little mistake by the Red Bull, but he keeps it going. Yeah, Porchi will not be giving this up. Like you said, it will be going down to the end of the race, which is great to see. Of course, we want to see action on track. We still just have a few laps left of the Grand Prix, so Porchi's got to start closing up the Forza and make that move, but it just depends on when he's going to make the move. And also, like you said, it's Forza and Pits.
Yeah, it would probably come to the point where Forza has to think, right, he had to pit. If he was going to pit, he'd have to pit before there's 4 laps from the end, giving him a chance to actually catch up. Now, he's going to be on fresh rubber. He's going to be 15 to 20 seconds behind. So, can he do it in 5 laps? Can he close that gap? That's where he's got to work out.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's got the pace to do it. I know he does. And these two start struggling on those tires. If they eventually don't pit, Forzan could catch up. But like you said, it's just a matter about time. Can he catch up? I mean, there's 5 laps left of the race. That's not that I mean, yeah, I think there's about 5 or so laps left of the race. That's not long for Forzan. He's got to catch up that gap. Oh, as he almost spins the car, too. He's got to make, like, almost a 4-second... he's got to gain almost about 4 seconds on these cars. And it looks like Porchi and Luke are both pitting.
Yeah, so basically Luke would have to pit with those tires, because they would be screaming at him compared to the Red Bull. So if Forzan has a good lap now, which I do believe he's got this under wraps. Because they are now leaving the pit, but are they going to get in front of it? Because I think that Forzan is a bit quicker. He had a better exit.
Yep, gotta agree. Forzan looks to be the quicker driver at this point. And of course, he's going to be on fresher tire. I mean, Porchi and Luke are on fresher tires, but Forzan, he is on warmer tires because he's just warmed up those tires. For second and third, the tires will be really cold at this point, but of course they will warm up in just a little bit of time. But that's very interesting to see how that has worked out. So Forzan maybe, I mean, at this moment, he's probably the quicker driver. But another thing to think about as well is that Porchi, he's going to start, all over the back of Forzan when it comes to the final few laps of the Grand Prix. Is that looks to be Yun's Light? Yeah, that's Yun Light.
Yeah. He spun out at 10.5, went backwards into the tire wall. Luckily, there was no damage and he's able to carry on.
And that affected his... Yeah, I was just going to say, it's definitely unfortunate because he was pretty close to the drivers ahead, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like about 4 seconds behind, and it looked like he could have had the pace to start catching up. But it's now looking like it's going to be just it's a Red Bull 1-2, but which order is going to be the question. But that Portuguese seems to be going a bit sideways coming out of the exit of turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, gotta agree with you. It's literally just between the two Red Bulls at this point. Luke Flano's still in the battle. I think Yun Light and, of course, Mel. I don't believe Mel will be able to get back in his car at this point and finish up in P3. It's a matter of time if he will finish ahead of, or its AI will finish ahead of Young Light. But the battle for first, second, and third, that is the closest battle we're seeing. And like you said, it's literally just to see which of the Red Bulls will finish ahead.
Yeah, it seems to be that now they've got into that mode where there's not a lot of action right now, but there is still that opportunity that Portugal could be making a move at some point in the next lap or two.
Yeah, you are correct. It literally is just about that. I think, like you said, we are in this phase of everyone kind of calming down, looking to see where is the best place to make an overtake. And we're now in lap 16, so 3 laps remain in the Grand Prix as Luke Flano sets the fastest lap of the race. Now, we know how quick that McLaren can be, but is that a sign that he's starting to catch the drivers ahead?
Well, he has just taken 2/10 off the time since he was at 10-12, so he's actually caught up quite a bit just on that start-finish straight. He's going to have to put a very good stint in now to actually catch up with the 2 Red Bulls, but never say never.
You're definitely correct. Yeah, Luke literally just has to make sure he can just catch up to these 2 ahead. And I mean, Porchy's stuck behind Forzan at this point, so nothing he can do at this particular point. So Luke can catch up a little bit more. He actually has catched up a little bit more, which is very interesting because that McLaren is not really good through these particular sections of the track. Now he has lost a little bit of time off that part of the track, but now I'm assuming he's going to catch up quite a bit. Oh, with a little bit of a spin there by the McLaren. He's going to lose about 2/10 to the cars ahead, but now on the straights, he's going to close up those 2/10 yet again.
Yeah, it's like Luke has that one corner, which is 10-12, that seems to be his bogey corner. It tends to mess him up a little bit, but he still puts in the fastest lap again, even with that corner. And he has caught up in total 4/10 since 10-12.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It literally is just that. So if Luke can catch it up a little bit more, he will be able to. Sector 1, of course, suits him a little bit more because of the power advantages, but throughout the rest of the laps, he's got to catch up quite a bit. Now, he is down to 1.3, but he's going to lose all the time in these couple of sectors. Now, Ferret, what would you say about Luke at this point? Would you think that if you were him, what would you do in that car? Because you know that car is not very good in the S sections. Is there anything you can do at this point?
Well, to be honest, it's all about braking a little bit earlier, slowing down into the corner to speed up through it. So he needs to brake a little bit earlier. Also, he's taking too much curb. He's putting that car too much over that curb on a lot of corners. Yeah, he's cutting the line a little bit tighter, but he's just not getting the pace. And then when his approach to turn 1, he needs to be wider on the approach rather than having to switch across, which actually takes off a lot more time.
Very interesting. Well, yeah, I think you're absolutely correct with that. It's just all down to Luke doing exactly what you said. I don't think there's need for me to explain what you just said. You literally just explained it. So, Luke, on the final lap of the race, can you do that and hopefully close up to Porchy? Now, he has closed up quite a bit to Porchy, so maybe he's listening to what you just said. Oh, a little bit wide, but it looks like that's it. But anyway, I did want to mention, this is the final lap of the race. Can Porchy close up to Forzan, or do you think it's all over?
Forzan's just basically put his foot down in the last lap, so I don't think Portugal's got an answer for him. He can't take 2 seconds off the time in this last part of the race.
Gotta agree with you there as well. Forzan looks to have set this from pole to first, has consistently put up a fight between his fellow teammates, and he's going to come across the line to win for Red Bull here today, Brazil, and the fastest lap as well, a 1:10.8. That is incredible. I think Porchy will just spin across the line. He will come some second. It's a Red Bull 1-2 here today at Brazil. Luke Flano will take his first podium in Classic Cup, and I do believe that's also, I think that's actually the top 3. I do believe that's all their first podiums in Group 2.
I really can't comment. I've only been part of it since Belgium, so I really wouldn't know. But fantastic effort from those 3 drivers, definitely. Unfortunately for Mel Gaming dropping out, but Young Lights did well for his first time in a classic car on a wheel as well.
Yeah, gotta agree with you on that one. Yeah, brave job by Jens Light, especially because he joined the session just a few minutes before. So congrats on him for doing a very good race, especially with the difficulties. He was able to persevere, and he got some points in our classic Corsa Cup race. But that is it, I do believe. I think that's pretty much it of the race here today. Formula Forzan, or sorry, I keep calling him Formula Forzan, but it's Forzan 96 that takes the win. Congrats to him. As a reserve, of course, he will take it home, and I do believe Porchi will come home second, and Luke Flano P3. And this is also good for Porchy Dude, as I do believe, if I'm counting this right, he will be about equal to Danny Boy. I think he may even finish P3. I gotta do the math. I gotta look at it and actually do the exact math for everything. But I do believe Porchy Dude, with that performance here today, will jump up to P3 in the standings, maybe P4. Even with that, though, that's a great result. And Luke Flano will score some major points in this race. He will jump to, I do believe, ahead of TKM Keen and right behind YouTube Marine. So great to see these drivers put in some very good efforts here today. Well, I think that is going to be it from us here today at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Paces here today at the Interlagos circuit for the Brazilian Grand Prix. This is round 7 of the championship race, and that, I do believe, will be it. But I first want to ask a few questions to Ferret. Ferret, what would you say, how would you describe Group 2? Now, we haven't had the biggest attendance of this race kind of proves it, but we did have some amazing races, especially for these this first league race, this first group race that we did for Season 2 of Classic Corsa Cup of Season 2, of course. But what would you say, what would you describe about Group 2?
Well, I'm going to take my opinion is going to come from the first race I commented on, which was the Stroopwafel GP at Belgium, which I thought was an outstanding race. It was competitive, it was clean, and it was very entertaining. It was absolutely fantastic. I actually can't wait for the next season.
And we can't wait to have you, because of course you're an amazing commentator. Thank you so much for joining us for the last couple of rounds. You were able to join us at the Stroopwafel Grand Prix, and as you said, that race was absolutely phenomenal. We had a great race then, and we've had a great season as well. So gotta say thank you so much. And you spoke a little bit about, you mentioned actually a little bit about how you can't wait for next season. We do have a few races, and the next season, I gotta say, from what I've been looking over and stuff like that, as I am the admin of the league, what I've been kind of looking over for next season, I cannot wait. It's going to be an amazing season. But Ferret, do you think we're going to have a very good race with all these drivers in Group 1 and Group 2? We have the emergence of the GT League coming in, and with Group 1 and Group 2 of the F1 League combining into one group, do you think we're going to see some amazing racing, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm hoping with the Group 2 racing has been fantastic. I'm sure the introduction into Group 1 as well is going to make it a bit more competitive, a bit more action-packed, and hopefully we'll still keep the cleanliness as well.
You're absolutely correct. Yeah, it will be very interesting to see how this works out from all our drivers. It looks like actually a few of the drivers actually want an interview. Would you mind, maybe we can get Luke Flano, do you believe he wanted an interview?
Yeah, just bring them on in. We'll do an interview.
All right, sounds good. So viewers watching right now, just give us 1 second. We're going to quickly invite whoever wants an interview in the race here today. So give us 1 second. So it looks like we're going to get Forzan in here and Luke Flano. We'll see if anyone else can get in here as well. We'll try to invite Porchy Dude, as he was part of the top 3 as well. Okay, so we do have some drivers coming at this moment. So viewers, just give us 1 second, and we'll see if we can get those 3 in here. All right, it looks like we have Forzan and there we go. All 3 of the drivers are here. Viewers, or sorry, Luke, Forzan, and Porchy, would you guys mind if you could check and see if your voices are being shared on YouTube? It should be an option that says always allow.
I'm pretty sure mine are, but I'll double check the stream in case.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, you can hear me.
Sounds good. Okay, so we can hear all 3 of you. Ferret, do you want to start off with the interviews? Do you want me to do it?
I'll let you run with it, and I'll jump in with a few questions at the end.
Sounds good. Okay, so let's first start off with our 3rd place finisher, Luke Flano. Welcome to the podium for the first time in Classic Cup, Luke. I do believe that is your first podium. What a result for you today. Are you feeling happy about that 3rd place?
Yeah, it was. I was mainly just focusing on the battle ahead of me, just watching them, like just basically running side by side for almost the whole lap. Just sitting back. Hopefully, I was hoping that they would just crash and I'd win, but it was actually a really clean battle from them. So, you know, it was well done to those for a clean battle.
And how did you feel about that battle? You were catching up quite a bit with the McLaren's pace and stuff like that. It sounds like you were thinking the same thing we were thinking you were thinking. That's kind of a weird sentence to say, but you were saying that you were thinking that those 2 were going to crash ahead of you. And do you think if those 2 didn't crash ahead of you, would you have catched up?
I don't know, because obviously on the straight the McLaren is probably better, but in sector 2 I just had nothing. The Red Bull is just, you know, it's way better in the corners, so I just had to try get a good exit out of the final corner every lap, and I couldn't really get a good one to be able to challenge Porchy.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Sector 2 is very difficult for the McLarens. Gotta say though, you were able to put on a very strong performance here today. You were able to keep up with those 2 Red Bulls with the disadvantages in the corners, and you were able to come home with your first podium. So congrats on that. I guess I'll move it on to Ferret now. Ferret, do you want to ask Luke some few questions?
Just a one thing. Obviously, you said about like you're struggling through the corners. Did you feel like you were cutting the corners a bit too much? Because from my personal view, when I looked at you, that turn 12, you was cutting it a bit too much to catch up. Do you feel that you did that?
Turn 12. Which one is that?
That's the short one. The short left, right. Sorry, the right-angled left-hander before the long bending straight to the finish.
Yeah, I guess I was being a bit. Yeah, probably like taking advantage of the regular limits, but I didn't get any positions from it, so I don't see why.
I don't think you actually went off track as in like it wasn't illegally off track because you still had 2 wheels on the track. It was just more that you were taking a bit too much curb, I would say. Personally, I'm just saying like, just trying to take that a little bit wider, and I'm sure you would have caught up with them, no problem.
Yeah. Thanks. I was just trying to, like, you know, in esports to kind of like run on the grass a little bit to try to get a better exit, and I was just getting like caught on the grass and nearly spinning, so it didn't really work out. Well, no,
I put an absolutely fantastic effort in, battling with the parts of the race as well. So that was very interesting to watch. So well done.
Thank you.
Okay, well, Luke, thank you so much for joining us in this comms booth for the little interview. Let's quickly move on to our 2nd place driver, Porchy Dude. Porchy, welcome to the podium as well. This is your first podium. I gotta say, what a battle with you and Forzan there. That was incredible to watch. Yeah, well, you were able to put up an amazing performance with Forzan, especially in these cars, which are so difficult to drive. You were able to go side by side with him. Were you thinking you were like? Did you have a lot of confidence in your fellow Red Bull driver? Very interesting. And want to say one more thing for you from my side about tires, actually. Forzan pit before you, were you going to stay out and continue to the end of the race, or were you planning on pitting? Very interesting. Well, congrats on the win. Or sorry, congrats on second place. Congrats on fighting for the win. I gotta say that was absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe that you guys went side by side for basically the entire race. So congrats on that. Well deserved. And gotta say congrats on the podium. Ferret, do you have any questions for Porchy?
Yeah, the only question I've got to ask is why didn't you stay out to the end? Was your tyres actually that worn down? Yeah, because honestly, I didn't, because we don't get the information regarding your tyre wear. And I was thinking at that point of the race, was there a possibility of you pushing it to the end? But if you couldn't, you couldn't. But no, fantastic battling. Most impressive wheel-to-wheel battling from basically turn 1 all the way around to turn 10 between you and Force, and it was absolutely unbelievable at one point. Yeah, I'm really glad you enjoyed that one because it was very good to watch.
All right. Well, thank you, Porchy Dude, for joining the comms booth. Congrats on second place as well. Let's move on to our race winner, Formula 4. I keep calling you Formula 4Zan. I don't know why I keep calling you that. I think it's because you were used to be.
It's cool. You can keep doing that. Like, only reason I because my name was originally Forza96, the one I have now. I changed it to Formula 4 because I wanted something else, but some of my games started not working, like on the PS3, so I changed it back.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's talk to Forzan for just a second. Forzan, congrats on the win here today at Classic Cup or Classic Corsa Cup LSR Group 2. That is your first win in Group 2, but I gotta say, you had an amazing battle with Porchy. We were just talking with that with Porchy with that battle that you had with your fellow Red Bull teammate. How did you feel with that amazing side-by-side action?
Yeah, well, first of all, like, I didn't feel like I belonged really in this championship since I'm a Group 1 driver, so I really didn't like push it to the max. I was pretty much relaxed the whole race. I just wanted a good race. Have some fun battling, so yeah, it was a really fun battle, especially running side by side for like 6 corners in a row. Like, that was very fun. But yeah, no, both Luke and Porchy Dude actually showed some decent pace, so I actually had to push a little bit harder than I expected. But yeah, no, it was a fun race.
Yeah, I gotta say, you did an absolutely phenomenal job out there, and yeah, just congrats on that. You said that you didn't really belong in the Group 2 session, but you still were able to fight with these guys to the max and get home the win.
Yeah, like, the thing I meant was that I actually thought the Group 2 would be slower. So that's where I felt that like, no offense to the guys for driving Group 2, but Yeah, I just for some reason thought they were gonna be a little bit slower. So first I felt that maybe I was too fast for Group 2, but that actually showed to not be the case. So I was pleasantly surprised actually, and as I said, it was a really fun battle with Portudude and Luke. Yeah, I don't think I have a lot more to add than that. It was a really fun race.
Well, congrats on that. Gotta say, congrats on the win, and congrats on fighting alongside your fellow drivers there. Great battle between all of you. I'm going to hand it over to Ferret now. So do you have any more questions for our race winner?
Actually, just the one, really. The question, really. So, Broom told me about the fact that this is the first time you're driving a Red Bull. Is that true? Yeah.
You mean if it's the first time I'm driving a Red Bull?
Yeah, it's the first time driving that Red Bull in a competitive race.
Yeah, no, it's not the first time, but it's the first time in this league. But like, I don't really feel a lot of a difference between the McLaren and the Red Bull. It's just, as Luke said, it's the corners the most where you feel the difference.
All right. Well, that was the question I was going to ask you. What would your comparison? But if you only felt it in the day corners, which a lot of people would, that's my question answered. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Well, I do believe that concludes it for the Classic Cup interviews. Thank you to all three drivers for an amazing Grand Prix. Gotta say, you guys really were the stars of the show for an amazing Grand Prix. So congrats to all three of you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Look
No
forward
problem.
to racing with you guys again.
Yeah. Hopefully that battle can go for the whole season next time.
Yeah, that would be very fun.
Well, we'll definitely hope to see you in future Grand Prix. Thank you so much for joining us. But I think that is going to be it from our Classic Cup race here today at the Group 2 session for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Farrah, do you have anything else to say before we round off here today?
No, just congratulations to all the drivers. Fantastic race today. Small grid, but just didn't lose any of the action at all. So thank you very much, drivers, for putting on a good show.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ferret, for joining me in the comms booth. As always, great to commentate with you. Hope to see you in future races. Thanks to all the drivers as well for participating in this Grand Prix, and we hope to see you next season. For details on the next season, for viewers watching at this moment, there will be more details released very soon. We have a very special race that's coming up, and that will be the Le Mans 20, or not, I was going to say the Le Mans 24 hours, but it's actually called the Le Mans 2-hour championship, and that will be on March 3rd. That's Group 1, March 3rd. That's at 6 o'clock PST. And for everyone on the Eastern Standard Time, that's on 9 o'clock. And then, of course, we also have the Group 2 session, which I'm assuming actually a lot of these guys in the booth here today will also be racing in that one. That one will be at 7 o'clock UK time. And for everyone in the Americas, that will be, I do believe, 2 o'clock EST, if I'm not mistaken. It's 11 o'clock for me in the Pacific Standard Time. But anyway, all that. Join us next time for that. That'll be commentary for that. And then for future Classic Cup races, which will now be called LSR, future details will be coming on that very soon. And if you would like to get involved, please let us know by contacting us. But that is going to be it. So, viewers, thank you so much for watching. For myself, Broomhandle914, and Ferret joining us in the commentary booth. We'll see you next time, and have a great day. We'll see you then. Goodbye.